Man, it's the T-Train Show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up? Hot Rod. What up? L-Train. Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the 3 to Hard.
Welcome to another edition of 3 the Hard Way. Man, I'm ready to dive into this episode, but as always, I got to introduce my fellas, the host of The Locker Room, the influencer, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What's the deal, Hot Rod?
What is going on, 3 the Hard Way Nation? What's happening, fellas? You know who this is. It's your friendly neighborhood coach. And as I always say, you may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And as always, the captain of 3 the Hard Way, Mr. Terrence Austin. What's up, T? What's going on?
What's going on, fellas? What's going on, everyone out there, 3 the Hard Way Nation? Let's get this ship underway. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Fellas, come on, man. The Cavs dropped one to Boston today. We had some pieces missing, okay? We had some pieces missing, but I'm not trying to make any excuses for them, man. I'm just kind of disappointed about the loss. I'm sure a lot of Cleveland Cavaliers fans out there, 3 the Hard Way Nation, I know a lot of you are disappointed about the loss. Cap, I'll start with you, man. Thoughts about the game, the Cleveland Cavaliers. What went on today, man?
Let me say this before I begin to break down today's game and hand it over to Rod. Boston is the team I fear in the East, okay?
Yeah,
I said that
you
even
said that.
before. That's the team I fear because every time I watch them, they are lethal from the three-point line. They are lethal, okay? Now, we knew Jason Tatum was going to be coming back, and I said he's going to disrupt the flow, okay? So that may help us in the long run. I said he's going to, disrupt things. Today was his second game back. He ain't disrupting nothing. It's like he never left, okay? Like he never left, and they have him, coming in and out in different sets. And I mean, he looks perfect. Now, we started off pretty good the first 7-8 minutes of the game. Okay, Rod said he didn't see that. Started off pretty good, okay? And then it just went in the tank. At halftime, the Cavs were 4 for 25, okay? In shooting.
Ouch.
4 for 25.
Ouch.
And then from the three-point line, they were 0 for 14. They just kept shooting the three, and just kept missing. Oh man, it was terrible. Now, I don't want to make any excuses for them. Was it the 5-day layoff? Was it missing Jared Allen? They look rusty. They just look rusty, okay? And again, against that Boston team who plays solid defense and they just shoot lights out, you have to be ready, okay? You have to be ready. And today, we just weren't ready. Now, again, we still got some time to get things together before the playoffs, okay? Give us credit. We beat a tough Detroit team, last week. We went up against them twice, split it, but we were in both games. We beat the Knicks, okay? And then today was the last part of that test, which we didn't do so well, okay? And we have to tighten things up or else this is the team that will stop us. There's nobody else I fear in the East but these Celtics, okay? And man, they gave it to us today. It just, they put up a little fight down the stretch in the end, but it just wasn't enough, okay? And we just have to do something about defending the three-point line. We cannot defend the three-point line. We can't whatsoever. And again, against a team like Boston, who doesn't miss from the three-point line, I don't know what to say, but Kenny Atkinson, has got to tighten up some things, man. He does, because that's the team that's going to stand in our way. That's it. Those Boston Celtics. And that daggone, I'm going to end with this, that daggone Peyton Pritchard, he doesn't miss. Yeah, he doesn't miss. He's got ice water in his veins. I tell you, man. So, yeah, we got our butts handed to us today. What'd you say, Rod?
Yeah, I know what's coming. Listen, I know what's coming. Whenever I see Hot Rod lean back in his chair, Cap, whenever I see him lean back in his chair, and he starts to adjust his hat a little bit,
like load a slingshot.
It's like load a slingshot, man. It's like load a slingshot. Hot Rod, what you got, man?
So I'm going to throw some numbers at y'all, and I'm going to be in my calm voice because I got a coach's call out later. So I'm going to stay in my calm voice. The Celtics were 39% from the three-point line today. The Cavaliers were 28.9%.
Ooh.
Jason Tatum went for 20 points, Sam Hauser, he went for 15. Jaylen Brown went for 23. Pritchard, 18. And then when you have the Cavaliers and you come up with the Cavs, Sam Merrill, 1 for 7 from three-point land.
Yep.
Played 29 minutes, scored 5 points. Dean Wade, 21 minutes, scored 7.
Yep.
Donovan was Donovan. Donovan had to go supernova again. Jalen Tyson, 25 minutes, 8 points. And it goes on. But here's the thing that troubled me is that Boston was playing with their food today. Boston played with the Cavaliers. They played around with them.
Yeah.
It almost felt like when I watched it in the second half, kind of like the old Celtics with Larry Bird, when it wasn't the fact that they were going to win, it was by how much. They're psychologically, the Celtics really and truly don't fear the Cavaliers. They don't think the Cavaliers are tough enough. Now, I don't fear any team in the playoffs. Does Boston concern me? Yeah, they do. I don't think Jared Allen makes such a huge difference like it did, like apparently it's supposed to today. But the way that they play Detroit compared to the way that they played Boston was pathetic.
Right.
There was no energy, there was no fire, there was nothing. And you can't play this way going into the playoffs.
Right.
So I'm being kind right now because I'm about to implode, because now that you have, you've made your trades, now that you have your team, you can't blame anything on Darius Garland anymore. Darius Garland is not there.
And he's playing too.
You can't blame anything on DeAndre Hunter. DeAndre Hunter is not there. Lonzo Ball is not there. So now it almost falls into a Stefanskiism. Now I'm going to start looking at Kenny Atkinson. But I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm about to start looking at him, because if your team comes out and does not have energy on a nationally televised basketball game against an arch rival that can show where you are in terms of the Eastern Conference, and you lay a tremendous egg like that, because the score was not indicative.
It wasn't.
Of how the Cavaliers looked.
They beat our butts.
It wasn't. And then I'm listening to the press conferences, and here's the thing, I'm going to sum this up. And no disrespect to Jason Tatum. Congratulations for Jason Tatum to come back the way that he did. But all these handshakes and hand pounds, congratulating him because he back, that tells me that you soft. I don't have time. Do you think the late, great Kobe Bryant will be shaking your hand the beginning of a game? No. Kobe Bryant is trying to cut your throat. And then he'll congratulate you after he done beat you by 40.
That's
I
right.
don't have time to be shaking your hand.
Right.
I'm trying to beat you.
That's right.
And so this is telling me, once again, the Cavaliers mentally are not where they should be.
Okay.
Mentally. It has nothing physical. It's mental.
Gotcha.
And so what I saw today, and there is no excuse. Like I said, Max Strus wasn't there, and neither was Jared Allen. That shouldn't have mattered. But I do question Kenny Atkinson's rotation. But I'll wait till later on that. That's all I got.
Yeah, teams are a reflection of their coach. That's one adage that I really, really believe in. I'll give the coach a little bit of grace here, and here's why. I've been in a lot of situations as a coach. One thing, albeit I don't, coach in the pros, but I used to hate players that would come in at semester. Maybe they were out during for an injury, first semester or whatever, and then they would come in. And when you have an influx of different talent coming in, personnel coming in, man, as a coach, it screws up everything. So I pinpoint the trade, new bodies, new attributes, things. I mean, and these guys in the NBA, man, even though they had 5 days layoff, these guys really don't practice a lot. So that's another thing that's working against the Cavaliers. And then on top of that, you've got injuries. You got Jared Allen out now. So, the one thing that I didn't want to happen seems to be happening with the Cleveland Cavaliers when we acquired James Harden. He had the fractured thumb, broken hand, or whatever. People are missing these spot minutes, and it kind of kills the cohesiveness of the team. It is a battle. I'm not making an excuse for him. I just know as a coach, that would be a huge battle for me. You throw on top of that not being able to practice like you should. I think that attributes to the Cleveland Cavaliers sometimes being up and down. You'll see it. I think that is going to get better as they go along. But again, however long Jared Allen is out, I don't know if you guys have heard how long he's going to be out or not. But then you're going to have to work with getting him back because James Harden and him built really, really good chemistry when Mobley was out. Then you bring Mobley back in. You got the two bigs. It's just, as a coach, it is just a headache. So that's probably a lot of what the coaching staff is going through right now. But it's not an excuse. You are compensated handsomely to figure these things out, and they just got to figure it out, fellas. They just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this.
Yep.
As the Cavaliers are constructed right now, gentlemen, are they championship material?
No, not the way they look today, okay? No, they're not. But there still is time, okay? After a game like today, I want to panic. But again, there's still a little time left. It's kind of like maybe this is the butt beating that they needed to have happen to them to possibly tighten things up going forward, okay? Again, like I said, I knew that Boston team was going to be a tough out. I knew they were going to be trouble because, again, everybody counted them out at the beginning of the season because Tatum wasn't there. Everybody counted them out. And, Brown said, okay, I'll show you because I always have wanted to run the show. And run the show he did up until this point, okay? Now, again, to answer your question, Hot Rod, no, we're not there yet. But maybe it was what happened today needed to happen for them to possibly tighten the screws, okay? Because, again, Detroit, if we match up against Detroit in the first round, I think we can get them. But after that, this Boston team and, Toronto is kind of tricky a little bit too. But no, to answer your question, we're not quite ready yet, but there still is a little time to get things together, get guys healed, and for Kenny Atkinson, hopefully to, put the squad together on the floor to play well. Okay. That's what we're missing at right now. But no, we're not ready yet. We're not ready.
Yeah, it all depends on the definition of championship material. Is it being in the conversation in terms of the possibility of winning the championship, or is it being better than the Oklahoma City Thunder? Because if it's being better than the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think that kind of remains to be seen. Were they ever championship material? But if you're talking about being one of the few teams that has a shot, I would say early on that the Cleveland Cavaliers would have a shot once they acquired James Harden, Schroeder, and all those guys. But the way that they played today should give people a lot of hesitation and a lot of doubt on whether or not they can get there, Hot Rod, to answer your question.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to know because for me, if you twist my arm today, and yeah, it could be just a knee-jerk reaction, I just did not like their energy.
Yeah.
They came to me, they seemed very lackadaisical. And then when they got down as far as 25.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as an NBA team, that's embarrassing. And like I said,
especially on your home floor.
Yeah.
Prime
their
time.
Defense in terms of the 3-point line is horrific.
Non-existent.
I agree.
They do not guard the 3-point line. And I do not understand their defensive rotations, okay? I really don't. And so today, to me, they showed me that they're not ready.
No,
they're not ready. And it also showed me with Tatum coming back, because, think about what he's doing right now. And like I said, I'm not shaking his hand and pounding him, but I will give credit to where credit is due. He's come back in 10 months off of Achilles tendon tear. And he put up almost a double-double today. And he did it last night. Okay. Now, how the Cavs can get this out of their craw? They got Philadelphia tomorrow. So they need to handily beat Philadelphia. Okay, if they do not beat Philadelphia tomorrow, I'm being honest, guys. I'm becoming concerned.
Yep, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And a Philly team that's playing a little better. A Philly team that's playing a little better too. They're playing a little better.
Yep. Really quick, give me one thing down the stretch. If you can name one thing that's really important for you to see from the Cleveland Cavaliers going down the stretch into the playoffs, give me that one thing that you want to see from them.
Mobley being more aggressive. Yeah, mental toughness and Mobley being more aggressive and playing in the paint.
Right.
More of Mobley playing in the paint.
Because that's how Mobley got off today. He started out in the paint.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, he hit 1 3-pointer and he started drifting.
Yeah.
And that is a coaching thing. That's not an Evan Mobley thing. That's a coaching thing. That's where you call the timeout. Let me tell you something. The great Greg Popovich would have called a timeout, pulled Timmy Duncan over, and said, "Hey, did I put you out there to shoot 3-point shots?
Right.
Yeah.
You the best player out there. You need to be in the paint."
Right.
And so that's what I'm saying. It's starting to make me think that Kenny Atkinson is not putting his foot down.
Yeah.
That the inmates are running the asylum because they are not playing defense. And as much as we talked about JB Bickerstaff, the one thing JB did when he was in Cleveland and what he's doing in Detroit is they play defense first.
Yep.
And this is what now. I understand we got James Harden. I get that. Okay? But I'm not, listen, you can't post him up like you did Darius Garland. So he plays enough. But these guys have to play defense like their hair is on fire as a whole. It wasn't until they got into mid-third quarter that they started to play. This team believes, because they're constructed the way that they are, that they can flip the switch on and off. And you being a basketball coach, L Train, you know that is the worst mentality to have is, we could just switch it on whenever we want. No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's what the Cavaliers are doing. And they better get it out their system, or else they're going to be one and done in the playoffs, and Kenny might not be around for long.
Yeah. Hot Rod bringing up the big fundamental and Tim Duncan. Man, I used to love watching the big fundamental play. But 3 to Hardway Nation, put your thoughts in the comments, man. What's one thing? We're going to put it out to the 3 to Hardway Nation. What's one thing you want to see from the Cleveland Cavaliers going down the stretch into the playoffs that you think would be important for this team to be able to make a run in the playoffs? Transitioning to the NFL, fellas. Free agency has not happened. That's coming up this week, but there's a lot of trades being bounced around. Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. How does that affect the Cleveland Browns, man? Another perennial pass rusher in the division. What do you see from that move for the Ravens? How good does that make the Baltimore Ravens?
It makes them, I tell you what, it makes them even more dangerous than they are, okay? And when I first saw that, I said we really have to be proactive in tightening up our offensive line, okay? We have to be because, again, he's now Raiders in their, are in the rearview mirror. Him in Baltimore now, oh, man, I tell you, I saw something. They had him, Myles Garrett, and I think the kid Hendrickson from the Bengals. So all the quarterbacks in the AFC now have to look out for that. That was a heck of a move by the Ravens, and it kind of seemed like it just happened. Yeah, and it happened in the middle of the night because when I woke up Saturday morning, I saw that. So, hey, we definitely have to, be proactive and tighten up our O-line, okay? Because, again, with that guy coming after you, it doesn't matter who you got as quarterback. He's a coming, So, the Ravens just, put everybody on alert like, hey, okay, and we still got Lamar. We still, got a running game, and we are the Baltimore Ravens, and we're coming, So, that was a heck of a move by them. Heck of a move.
Hell of a move. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Max Crosby is an absolute monster.
He's a beast.
And
he's a beast.
Now you put him, in that Baltimore Ravens defense. My only thing now is because you have a whole new coaching staff. You had Jim Harbaugh's not there anymore. There's going to be some transition that take place, but when it comes to the Browns, that's I can say that I think they knew something like that was coming. That's why they went on ahead and and traded for the tackle from the Texans.
Texans,
I like I said,
and I
I
like that
think
move by us. I like that move by us.
yeah, but I think Andrew Berry isn't done. I think he's going to be making some. He definitely is going to rebuild this offensive line.
Has
That is
to. It's a
something that he's
must.
talked about. But even the Max Crosby deal, I mean, the one that shocked me the most. I don't know if you guys paid attention to it, but it was David Montgomery being traded from Detroit to Houston.
Yeah, that
To
shocked me,
Houston,
man.
yeah.
That was one, and then DJ Moore from Chicago to
For
Buffalo.
Chicago to Buffalo,
Okay,
yeah.
DJ. I mean, these are some silent type of moves, but that Max Crosby one, and then you got to think Hendrickson wants out of Cincinnati. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if he
Oh, man.
stayed in the division and he went
Yeah.
to Baltimore or Pittsburgh?
That's sick. That's sick.
Yeah. So, man. So yeah,
And
Andrew Berry understands. I got to
Yeah.
get some linemen to block these guys.
Yeah. And getting back to that DJ Moore move, I guess out of Chicago, they could afford to lose him because they got quite a few, bit of wide receivers and numbers, okay? And he had kind of a down year.
Yeah.
But him teamed up with Josh Allen, oh, that's going to be kind of scary, man. It's going to be kind of scary. So we have to do something. It's all about, it's like an arms race. We got to keep up with the Joneses, Got to keep up with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of questions came across my channel, fellas, that I wanted to hit you guys with because I think it's relevant to what we're talking about. Obviously, you got free agency coming up. You got the draft coming up for the Cleveland Browns. I think the Cleveland Browns are in a market for another wide receiver. This came across my channel. Jordan Addison, who is our number 2 wide receiver up here, he could be a number 1 on a lot of different teams. He stubbed his toe in terms of off the field stuff, incidences. Falling asleep on a ramp in California, stuff like that. So he has had his issues. One thing that has been bounced around as a hypothetical, and I just wanted to pick your brain about this, would you give up a first-round pick for Jordan Addison? I mean, you're looking at a first-round wide receiver for Jordan Addison.
Right.
If you're the Cleveland Browns, would that be a trade that you would support, that you would like?
I would not for our team, okay? He needs to go with a veteran team, a team that can manage him. We already got enough. Well, I ain't gonna say we got it. Yeah, we already got our issues, okay, with character off the field, what we do off the field, this and that. Yeah, he's good and he's worth it, but not for us. It wouldn't be a fit for us. I wouldn't give up a first-round pick for him. No.
Okay.
I agree with Cap. I'm not giving up the number 6 pick for a headache. I'm not doing it. He can be as talented as possible, but listen, we already got our Pro Bowl defensive end going 150 miles an hour again for his
ninth speeding ticket. His ninth speeding ticket as a Brown. His ninth. We will need another speed racer. No.
Don't need another one. And I will not. Now if it was a late round pick, possibly I would think about it.
Possibly,
but the Browns wide receiver room needs a grown man in the room.
Needs an adult.
They need if they do it by draft, they need to get a guy that's gonna come in and know that they're the number 1. They're wide receiver 1, and they're gonna conduct themselves as wide receiver 1. Whether it's Jordan Tyson, whether it's Carnell Tate, it doesn't matter. Whoever they bring in, they to that wide receiver room, they got to come in and they got to have a grown man in the room.
Yep.
I'm going to give you another name. I'm going to give you another name out there where you wouldn't have to jeopardize your first-round pick. You still can go in and get a Tate. But what about Stephon Diggs? You're taking a flyer on Stephon, who was released from he was a good soldier last year up until the end of the year where he had his off-the-field issues with his cook or his chef or something like that. But would you bring in a Stephon Diggs, veteran wide receiver? It's been through the wars.
He reminds me of Kenny Britt Part 2 coming to us for some reason.
Okay.
He reminds me of the headache that Kenny Britt was. Remember? Yeah,
I,
yeah.
He
With
said,
our
"Get his
organization
rent."
again, yeah, he reminds me of that. Yes, he's talented. We know that. But again, I need good character. I need guys that are going to behave themselves. I need guys that are going to be in the house by 8 o'clock, man, and no chaos and stuff going on. Yeah. So no, 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 not for us. It wouldn't fit for us. No, no,
yep.
And
nope.
once again, I agree. It's not a good fit. It's not too many wide
Mm-mm.
receivers out here that remember Andrew Berry when he goes into free agency, he does better in free agency, but he's gonna get high character guys. You know what I mean? And so I don't see him bringing on any more baggage. I don't. I think his mindset is I have enough baggage in the locker room
We
now.
can't manage it. We
Yeah,
can't manage it. We can't
because
manage it.
there
We
really
can't.
isn't, and I said this. When you look at the defensive side of the ball, once again, there's some grown men in there. I don't count Myles Garrett
Yep.
as a leader. I've said this before. I'll say
Mm-mm.
it again.
He's
But as a
not.
football
He's not.
player,
He's not.
he is
He's that.
all world.
He's that.
But you have
He's that.
guys in the defensive locker room that holds each other accountable. The Shelby Harrises, the Grant Delpits, the Denzel Wards. You have those guys. When you look
Yeah.
on the offensive side of the
Yeah.
football, you don't have any leadership. You just don't. You don't count Jerry Jeudy as a leader. You don't. Quinshawn
Mm-mm.
Junkins is a
Mm-mm.
rookie coming off of his rookie season.
He's a rookie,
Harold,
right?
I would
Right.
go as far as saying is the potential leaders in that offensive side are your rookies.
Harold Fannin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is your
Harold Fannin
rookie.
Jr.
But you don't
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
That's why I'm probably one, and I know people will think it's being nostalgic, but in the running back room, you got Dylan Sampson, you got Quinshawn
Mm-hmm.
Junkins. I don't want Ford. I think Ford won't be on the squad. Why not bring back Nick Chubb? You don't have to give
Yeah.
Nick Chubb
There's
bulk
your
of the
adult.
carries, but now you have a
Right.
grown
Right.
man in the running back room. You have
Exactly.
somebody who's been
Exactly.
there and who can take Quinshawn
Exactly.
Junkins mentally from being a very good running back to being a great running back. So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. You
Yep.
got to
Right.
bring grown men in the room, and all
Grown
Nick
man.
Chubb is
Yep.
going to do is work and go home. That's what you need in the wide
There you
receiver
go.
room. You don't have leaders in
There
there.
you
So
go.
no, to answer your question, I don't want any of the digs. Stephon or his brother. They bring too much baggage.
Right. Right.
Yep.
Right. There you go. Yep.
Yep. You've got free agency coming up this week. What do you want to see from the Browns? What moves? It's hard to predict because a lot of the intangible stuff that you think about, it's got to fit under the salary cap. How many
Yeah.
years?
Yeah.
Who's available? Who you're competing against? But what would you like
Yeah.
to see the Browns do to get things done this week?
Offensive line and wide receiver. Okay.
Yep.
Offensive
Yep.
line and wide receiver. Yeah. That's it. Point blank.
So
Tighten up
you
those
got
areas.
you definitely need to address your offensive line. I think you can address the guard position in free agency. I think they're well in the draft. I'm sorry, free agency. You
Yep.
got your one tackle. You can still get a tackle or two. The thing that's holding the Browns up to a certain extent is Joe Bitonio because he's trying to decide on
Yeah.
whether he's going to return or
That's a
not.
great point.
Okay.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of
But
holding
with
the
Hot Rod,
Browns up.
I'd just go ahead and count him gone. I'd count him gone, Hot Rod.
You
I count him
you
gone. I think
could, but he hasn't. He's a free agent, but he's been so loyal
Yeah.
to the Browns. He could come back on a vet minimum because I think he sees the direction that the Browns are going in, and he just wants to give it one more run. But
and I'd love
there-
for him to come back. I'd love for him to
yeah,
come back. But I
absolutely.
think he's
But
gone.
you also have to look at the Browns, even though Deshaun Watson and Denzel Ward restructured their contracts. So because of the restructure, that gives the Browns that took about $36 million off the cap. They're still over the cap, but they're in NFL compliance. I think with Andrew Berry, his mindset is I will rebuild this offensive side of the football through the draft because I'm going to get a lot of guys on rookie deals. And so now I don't have to spend an inordinate amount of money on high-priced free agents. I heard Tyler Lindenbaum, the center from Baltimore, he's going to want $30 million a year. The Browns don't have $30
Yeah,
million
he's too
a
expensive.
year. Yeah, he's too expensive. So I think that Andrew Berry's going to do more work in the draft and through and more than he would free agency. I think he'll spend some
Yep.
money, but I don't think it's going to be a lot.
Okay. Okay, let's jump into this mailbag, man. We got a lot of people. Three to Hardway Nation, thanks for coming through with all the questions, man. I mean, just some really, really good ones. Mike says, hey, fellas, great show. Been watching for about a month now. Keep up the good work. If the Cleveland Browns get average quarterback play next year, how good are they?
Average. Ooh.
Average quarterback play.
Average quarterback play. I wonder who Mike is referring to. Would that be out of Shador or Watson? But average quarterback play. I think it depends on the individual. But then also too, average just doesn't seem like it's going to be good enough. Okay.
Right.
Average to me sounds like what? 4 or 5 wins, which is that's just not gonna cut it. Okay, it's just not gonna cut it. You take Deshaun Watson. If we can get 75% of that guy that he used to be in Houston, I'll take that. But I don't think any of that is left. But I'm holding out with the new coach being able to possibly work some magic, okay? I think if anybody's going to get anything out of him, it would be Todd Monken. But just to answer the question as a whole, average, that ain't going to cut it, man. Ain't going to cut it.
What do you think, Rod?
So I would have to answer a question with a question because I need to know, is this offensive line rebuilt? If you're saying average play, if you're saying average play, that means I have an above average offensive line. I already have an above average running back. I got above average wide receiver core. So if I just get average play out of whatever quarterback is back there, I'm looking at no less than 7 wins. To me, less than 7 is not good enough. You won, what is it, 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm looking at 7 or more, and you know me, I made the mistake of saying they was gonna win 10 last year. Okay, but in average play, if we have our holes plugged with the defense that we have now, I'm looking at 7 wins. Even with average play, to me, 6 or 7. Yeah. 6, 7.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. 100%. When I hear the word average, when it comes to quarterbacks, I always think of the word game manager. I think that offensive line, I think sacks and turnovers are going to kill you. So that offensive line has to be revamped because you're going to have to stay on schedule if you got Shador or Deshaun, whoever the quarterback is. If you can't stay on schedule, you're going to have a hard time producing points in this league. And you've got to give your quarterback time. And I think when they don't have time, that's when these quarterbacks tend to turn the ball over. So not turning the ball over is going to be paramount. If they can fix those things, and even if Deshaun or Shador is what, quote unquote, a game manager, I think the Cleveland Browns could win 4 to 5 more games than what they did last year for sure. Probably even better than that, but they need to fortify their offensive line for sure. That's just kind of where I am, fellas. That's kind of where I am. Aaron from Dallas, Texas says, hey, 3 to Hardway, which team will make the biggest splash in the NFL free agency period this week? Good question.
Oh boy, I hope it's us. You know, I hope it's us. That's and I wonder if he's a Cowboys fan, okay? Because I heard something the other day that I wonder if he under the table roots for the Cowboys. Again, I hope it's us, but you never know. It's always going to be somebody that you least expect. Just like I didn't expect to wake up Saturday morning and see what the Ravens had done. I didn't expect that. So it's going to be something out of nowhere, man. It's going to be a team out of nowhere that nobody's talking about. Okay, that's going to do something big. So it's a wild card. That's a wild card. Again, I hope it's us, but that remains to be seen.
I say it each year, and I'll say it again. The team that potentially can make the biggest splash and needs to make the biggest splash to try to match some things that are going on in the AFC is the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers because now Tomlin is gone. You have a brand new coach. You have a brand new system. They have to they see that they're on the verge of not even competing. So I can see the Rooney family making a big splash. They got DK Metcalf out of a big splash.
Yep.
I can see that coming. I can also see, Buffalo started. You can see Buffalo retooling. Detroit retooling. The Texans. I think the Texans are really gonna dig. They're gonna get into it.
Mhm.
Texans are clearing cap space. They've traded away 2 of their tackles, and so they may be in the mix. But I cannot blink when it comes to the Steelers. Okay, and quietly, L Train's Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
I can see Minnesota doing some things in free agency as well, but my original one is Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I love what the
Why won't
Minnesota
they
Vikings.
why won't they give Will Howard a chance in Pittsburgh? Why won't they give him a shot?
Because
What's
Will
I
that
don't
all
know if
Howard,
Will
about?
Howard's ready, T.
yeah, Will Howard is unproven. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
Go Bucks. I love Will Howard. He won a national championship, but I don't
Mhm.
think that McCarthy is ready to give the rings to Will Howard. I think they
Okay.
really want Aaron to come back, Aaron Rodgers to come back for one more year, and then have Will
Which I
Howard
think he will.
behind him. They think that
Behind him. Okay.
now, after those couple of years behind a first ballot Hall of Famer, you got to put the ball in Will Howard's hands. He's a big, strong, smart kid. You might now. Let me not say that because I have Pittsburgh Steelers fans coming knocking at my door. He's got Big Ben vibes. He does.
Okay.
He's got. I'm not saying he's Big Ben, but he's got Big Ben vibes. So, but
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
want him to learn the NFL game, and so who not to learn it behind than Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Minnesota Vikings aren't making a splash, man. Minnesota Vikings payroll was about $360 million last year. They didn't make the playoffs. The Wilfs, the owners up here, are pretty pissed off about that, to put it lightly. They fired Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah for spending all that money and not having any playoff appearances to, this past season to look at. I think their number one agenda is finding a quarterback. They will make some tepid moves, but it won't be anything big up here from the Minnesota Vikings. I don't think anybody's expecting that. The team that you need to keep an eye on in terms of making a splash, in my opinion, is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. Over $100 million. They moved Max Crosby. They got over $100 million to spend. New coach. Everything is new. They got the Raiders persona there. They've got their quarterback that everyone is speculating that they're going to draft, and Mendoza's going to be on a rookie contract. So in terms of flexibility over the next couple of years, I think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to make a big splash. And who wouldn't want to live in Vegas, man? I mean, Vegas is pretty attractive to some of these guys, so I don't think you're going to have to twist their arm too much. But I look for the Las Vegas Raiders probably not to be the biggest splash team, but I think they're going to be heard from in free agency for sure.
Let me throw one other team out west out there because they got the cornerback from Kansas City. That's the
Yep.
Rams, because all the Rams need to do is tighten up their defense. Now, they're going to go after that kid from LSU, that safety, okay? Because, again, they need to shore up their secondary. Watch out for them because, again, they're just a defense away from maybe winning it all because that Rams team is solid. They got everything on the offensive side. They just need to tighten up the defense. So don't count them out as well because, again, they got the cornerback from Kansas City because I think Kansas City is about to, kind of unload. I wouldn't say tank, but they're going to kind of unload and just rebuild for 3 or 4 years later for when they go into their new stadium. But watch out for the Rams, though.
Okay. All right, Dan from Chi-Town is saying, are my Bears finally headed in the right direction, or was last year a flash in the pan? Great
I
question.
tell you what, they got a hell of a quarterback in Caleb. I love me some Caleb, okay? I tell
Okay.
you, all he does is play subpar in the first half, and then in the second half, he wins on the last play of the game. But that kid has got a lot of upside, okay? And again, they had a large wide receiver room. That's why they were able to unload that kid that Buffalo got. But hey, they're on the up and up. They're on the up and up, and that's a team that you're going to have to deal with and contend with.
man.
Your Vikings, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, those Bears. Yeah, those Bears are coming, man. They're coming. I love their quarterback. I love Caleb. Love him.
So I don't think Chicago is a flash in the pan. I think
Yeah, I don't
that,
think so
first
either.
of all,
No,
they
they're the real deal.
led the league in turnovers, in creating
Yeah, they're the
turnovers.
real deal.
Chicago's the real deal. And now that Caleb
Yeah, they
Williams
are.
has a taste, and like I said, they got rid of DJ Moore, and because they have a good receiving core. No. Au contraire, mon frère. Chicago Bears are not going anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm right there with you guys. I don't think they're a flash in the pan either,
Mm-mm.
but I'll tell you this. I do need to see it one more year.
Well,
One more year, because
okay.
we've seen over the past, decade, we've seen good years from the Bears. Now, I think this situation is a little bit different. Don't get me wrong, but whenever you see these teams pop up one year, they've got to have that second year to let me know that they're for real. I don't care who it is. I think it is for real from the Chicago Bears. Like, I'm trembling in my shoes right now because, like T said, my Minnesota Vikings got to go up against them twice a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think they're legit, man. I think they got a good head coach.
they
I think
are.
they found
Yeah,
their
they are.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Their defense is not too shabby. They've got a
Yep.
good running game. So they've got all the
They're solid.
ingredients, man. They're solid. They're a solid football
They're
team.
real solid. Yep.
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 Jeff from Buffalo. Great show, fellas. Thanks, Jeff. Will the Chiefs win another Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes as quarterback?
I don't think so. I think
You think it's over, Cap?
Yeah, I kind of think so. I do. Again, they'll be going into their new stadium in what, 2-3 years from now, 3 years, and
Yep.
I think at that time, Patrick Mahomes, it'll be his time at that point in time to start, training his relief. So I think we've seen, the best of them are in the rearview mirror right now. The Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know how much longer Andy Reid is going to be around. So there's a lot of question marks going forward with them. Okay, there's a lot of question marks, but I think they're we've seen the best of them in the rearview mirror. Yep.
So I believe that Mahomes is going to knock on the door, but it won't open. I think he's had his
Okay.
run. I think
And it was a good run.
It was
Yeah,
a
it
good
was a
run.
good run. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs has made that run. Now, I could eat crow because there is reports that when Tyreek Hill becomes healthy, Tyreek Hill is talking about going back to Kansas City.
I heard
Now,
Mhm.
if Tyreek Hill is healthy, you got Kelsey. This probably will be it for him. If he plays it, this will probably be his last year. They're gonna make a run. Will they make it to the Super Bowl? Right now it's up in the air because Buffalo choked last year. You got Bo Nix coming back, so you got to look at Denver. Okay, New England's not going anywhere. They've had the experience,
Right.
so now they'll be able to come back. Right now, if you twist my arm, I just don't think Kansas City has enough firepower to do it again.
Yeah, I look at Pat Mahomes' numbers. They seem to be going down for the past couple of years. I've always said, once you get the quarterback figured out, you are always in contention to win that championship. You may not win it every year, but if you put the right pieces together, you will always be in contention. And I kind of see the Kansas City Chiefs as that, but a lot of it is going to depend on Pat Mahomes' play, how he comes back from his injury, so on and so forth. So I can't 100% say their run is over, but I think they're going to be hard pressed to find themselves in another Super Bowl and to be able to win that thing. Great question. Another question from Omar, Houston Texan. Not Houston Texan, from Houston, Texas. Said that he watched our show when we were talking about the Super Bowl. He said we were blasphemous, that was a great Super Bowl. It was a great defensive Super Bowl. He said, so if that's the case, if you guys thought the Super Bowl was boring, his question is to us, is defense still what wins championships or not? What do you got?
Putting that aside, and Omar, that was a boring Super Bowl because you fell asleep before halftime too. You only woke up to see the halftime show. Now that was a boring Super Bowl. I'd rather watch paint dry. But yeah, defense. I mean, hey, you know that Chicago Bears team, that Baltimore Ravens team. Yeah, defense still does win, championships. But that was a boring game. But yeah, defense is still important. It is very important. You got a solid defense, you always have a chance to win. Okay, no doubt.
So Omar, that was a
What do you say,
loaded
Rod?
question. That was a
Yo,
loaded
was
question,
Yeah,
it?
Omar. So I'm gonna
yeah,
give
that
you a
was.
loaded.
Yeah, that
Okay,
was.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you a
that was.
loaded answer. Number one, even the '85 Bears when they won the Super Bowl, the '85 Bears dominated that year in '85, but they still had somebody named Jim McMahon. They still had
They sure
somebody
did.
named Willie Gault. They still had the legend of Walter Payton and Matt Sewell.
Walter Payton.
Yeah,
Yep.
so there was still some
Mhm.
entertaining value when it came to the Bears
Sure
and when the
was.
Yes.
Bears beat the New England Patriots in the '85 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. When the
Oh
Baltimore
yeah.
Ravens won the Super Bowl, yeah, you had Trent Dilfer. Yeah, you had
Mhm.
you had Shannon Sharp. You had some pieces.
Mhm.
Okay. So they
Yeah.
Yep.
miss me with that. Well, the defense is gonna always win championships. But when it came
Yeah.
to this particular Super Bowl, I'd rather watch mosquitoes mate. It was boring. It was absolutely boring. The commercials were boring.
Omar knows that.
Okay. The game was boring. It was boring. And yes, it was a
It
defensive
was.
struggle. But I didn't see Mike
Yeah.
Singletary out there. I
Right.
didn't see the 75 Steelers. I saw the
No.
Seattle
Right.
Seahawks and the New England Patriots. Omar
Right.
missed me with that. You know it was
There you
boring.
go.
You know you
Yeah.
cut it off. And
Yeah. Omar
here's
was
how
on his
I'm
phone
gonna
the whole
ask you.
time. He was on his
I'm gonna
phone the
ask
whole
you a
time.
question, Omar. I'm gonna ask you a question. I hope you respond in the chat. Omar, did you change the channel when the commercials came on? That tells you that Super Bowl was boring.
Omar,
Thanks,
you done
Omar.
started something, man.
Thanks,
You done,
Omar.
Omar,
Omar
you
was
done
on his phone the
started
whole
something.
time. He was on his
I know.
phone.
He started something, man. Omar, listen, man. I like different type of games. I agree with the Cap and I agree with Hot Rod about that boring Super Bowl. Really, I don't think it had anything to do with defense. It was just a boring Super Bowl out
Yeah,
there, man.
it was.
Call
It
it.
was.
I'm calling it like I see it. Vic from up there where Hot Rod is, Phoenix, Arizona. Kevin Durant left the Phoenix Suns to go to Houston. Do you ever see him winning a championship with the Houston Rockets?
Oh man. Not this year. Well, you know what? I don't think he
The
will
key
this
word
year.
is ever, Cap. The key
Ever,
word is
yeah,
ever.
ever, yeah. There's a high possibility. There's a high possibility. Because I would like to see KD win one where he's the leader of the team, where he's the focal point. Yeah, again, he was the best player on that Golden State team, but that was Steph's team. But I would like for him to, be the man and win one. So the jury is still out on that. He's got the talent, okay? He's got the talent, and he loves the hoop. He loves the ball. As long as he stays healthy, he's gonna go at it as long as he can, as long as he, stays healthy, because he loves to play. So the jury is still out on that with KD. Jury's still out.
So the question is, will KD ever win another championship? No.
With Houston.
With
Okay.
Houston.
No. Simply because KD, don't get me wrong, Easy Money Sniper is going down as one of the greatest players in NBA history, one of the greatest scorers in NBA history. When I see Kevin Durant, he, and this I date myself, he reminds me of George Gervin. George Gervin could score from anywhere at any point at any time whenever he felt like it. Kevin Durant is a mismatch. Here's the problem. That Houston Rockets team is very, very young. They have not been through the wars. And right now, the way that Oklahoma City is constructed, the way that the Denver Nuggets are constructed, I don't see KD getting them over the hump. And I go as far as saying this. Kevin Durant has never been a leader of a ball club he's been on. Never.
No.
Never.
Just the best player. Just the best player.
He's been the best player, but he's never been a leader. That's not in KD's makeup. Okay. And once again, no disrespect to Kevin Durant. he has not been that leader. He wasn't the leader at Oklahoma City with Westbrook and James Harden. He wasn't the leader in Golden State. That was Steph's squad. He wasn't the leader in New Jersey. He wasn't. And so, and even now, where, in Phoenix, he was out here. I saw him. He wasn't the leader out here. That was Devin Booker's team. Okay. So I just, as an ancillary piece, you have to address Kevin Durant, even in Houston, because they're big, because Şengün can play. The Thompson kid, he can play. They got good pieces, but those pieces, when it comes to the playoffs, Kevin Durant has got to take the bull by the horns, and Kevin Durant has shown that he cannot do that in terms of leading a team to a championship. He's proven that he cannot do that. He can't. So no.
Yeah, my quick answer to that is no. I think Kevin Durant has kind of missed his window of opportunity, and I think Houston will be heard from this year. I just don't see them getting past OKC. I think they get bounced, so that's going to be the obstacle that he has in terms of winning a championship, is trying to get past OKC. I don't see him doing that at all. So my quick answer is no.
I would kind of like him too, but y'all are probably right. I would kind of like him too, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
This next question, I believe this is pronounced Nicole. I apologize for if I'm butchering your name, but it's a unique way to spell Nicole. Is Luka? She says she's a big Laker fan, and she wants to know, is Luka the best offensive player in the league? She says, I know one of you guys are probably going to say no. So who would be the best offensive player, in your opinion, in the whole league?
Take that, Rod, because I got to think on that. He's close to it. I wouldn't say the best. He's close to it.
I'm gonna be honest, and I'm just joking around. Nicole, I really don't like the tone of your question. You know what I mean? The tone of your question is kind of off base.
Say no.
You say one of us is gonna say that Luka is. Let me tell you something. Luka Doncic.
She's talking about you, Hot Rod. She's talking about you.
I know she is. Luka Doncic is an absolute monster, but Nicole, I'm gonna tell you right now, that dude SGA in Oklahoma City, SGA finds new and creative ways to get himself to the line. He can get after it. That dude up in Denver, Jokic, Nikola Jokic. At any point, he's an instantaneous bucket. That dude in Minnesota by the name of Anthony Edwards. That dude.
Hey, man, I was about to say.
Right.
Yeah, he's a bucket.
Right.
We just talked. Now, he might be 36 years old, but Kevin Durant can get a bucket whenever he feel like it. So,
sure can.
Yes, sir.
Nicole, I need you to in context to answer your question, which, like I said, I'm just messing with you. I think Luka is the most natural scorer that I've ever seen. He moves at his own pace. You can't speed Luka up. You can't slow him down. Luka is going to get what he gets. But in terms of, if I need a bucket with 5 seconds left on the clock, now, for me, I'm going to SGA.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Rod. And I think what takes away from Luka too is that he pouts and he complains so much. Okay, that really kind of he pouts and complains and whines after every play. He wants every call. But no, I would go with SGA and Ant-Man before I would go with him as far as best offensive player. I agree with you there, Rod. He's close to it, but not the best. No.
All right, Nicole, you heard him. Send all correspondence to the captain. He told you that your boy cried too much. I didn't say that. He did.
Yeah, he does. She knows that. Yeah, she knows that. Yeah, he does.
I like Luka's game. It would be hard to put anybody over Luka. The only thing about SGA is that he's a flopper, and everybody knows he's a flopper. He goes to the free throw line a million times a game. That doesn't take away from his offensive game, but a big part of the amount of points that he scores is from the free throw line. I'm biased towards Anthony Edwards. I would give Luka the edge on him because there are just games, man, where Anthony Edwards just kind of disappears. It's like he'll drop 40 one night, and then he'll come back the next night and drop 18 and just look lethargic at times. Like he's not engaged. So when I see stuff like that, I mean, he's a bona fide bucket. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But he just has those games, like out of 10 games, you know he's going to play one game where he just looks disinterested.
Disappearing at.
Just disappearing at. And that's just Anthony Edwards, man. He perplexes me. But I would have to give Luka the edge, Nicole. So that's kind of where I am with that, man. That's kind of where I am with that. We're gonna continue to do this mailbag stuff, man. You guys sending a lot of stuff. I appreciate all the engagement over the past week. You guys sending stuff in. But now we got a little bit. We got some people out there, man, that need to get sent to boot camp. And as always, the captain is up for the task to run his boot camp. Cap, what do you got with your boot camp today, man?
I got two bodies that need to show up for boot camp. The first being former Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl. Show up, get your boot shine, get your haircut, get your dog tags ready. Bruce Pearl the other day was talking smack about the Miami of Ohio basketball team not being worthy of being in the tournament. At that time, they were, 29-0? I think now they're 34-0. And I think what he was doing is trying to put in a pitch for his son, who's the coach at Auburn, because I guess they are maybe one game above 500 or whatever have you. But he was talking smack about that team. Come on, Bruce. No. I don't care if their strength of schedule compared to Auburn is weak. That team is 29-0 and very deserving. And even if they don't win their tournament, like I say, right now, I think they're 34-0. They're undefeated. Yeah, they deserve. Out of 60-some teams, yeah, they deserve to be there. So Bruce Pearl, show up to boot camp and let's get, we're going to whip you into shape to be a more kinder. Yeah, drop and give me 20, more kinder individual. And last but not least, we got Diego Pavia once again, quarterback for Vanderbilt, talking smack about where he is going to go in the draft or where he needs to go or what team he needs to play for. Diego, you're going to be playing up against grown men next year. Okay, there's a big difference from college to the pro. Okay, now again, remember you shot off at the mouth because you were runner-up in the Heisman voting. Okay, just be quiet. Whatever team selects you, go play for them. Okay, don't be saying that you need to go here or you worthy of going there, this and that, because you're not that much bigger than Dylan Gabriel. Your arm is average and your talent overall is average. Now, granted, you got a lot of heart. You do. You got a lot of heart. But be quiet, man, because you're going up against some grown men in the NFL. So
that's right.
Come on, show up to boot camp and we'll whip you into shape. Teach you some emotional regulation and distress tolerance and have you ready just to be humble and show up for whatever team chooses you. So Bruce Pearl and Diego Pavia, boot camp, show up ready to go, you two. Show up. Coaching the player.
And give the Cap 20.
That's right.
Tease boot camp. But we're not done. 3 to Hard Way Nation. We're not done. We got a coaches shout out today. Mr. Hot Rod is ready. Hot Rod, who you shouting out to today, my friend?
So for my coach's call out, I'm calling out Kenny Atkinson. And like I said, I put on my Cavalier voice at the beginning of this show. Well, now I'm putting on my coach's voice. Kenny Atkinson, you got to be killing me. You were off 5 days. You had that team off 5 days. 5, not 4, but 5. You had them off 5 days. They go out here to play the Boston Celtics with these guys, and you got Jason Tatum, who just came back from an Achilles tendon injury, and you guys look like garbage. You guys scored 10 points in the second quarter. 10 points in the second quarter. The whole quarter. I got 5-year-olds that can score 10 points in a game. Okay? So you scored 10 points in a quarter, and then you get at your press conference, I don't know what happened. What happened is they have no intensity. They have no fire. That goes back to the coach.
Yeah.
They were 2 for 22 from the field in the second quarter. And you continuously kept throwing guys out there who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. Sam Merrill, 0 for 5. Jalen Tyson, 1 for 7. Evan Mobley, he was 10 for 19 from the field. He was 2 for 6 from the three-point line. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I don't understand. So after a certain point, it can't be the guys. It falls on the coaching staff. Where is your voice? Kenny Atkinson, I'm calling you out right now because if you don't fix this, you won't be there long. Okay? So the NBA stands for no bums allowed. You keep sending these bums out there to keep shooting the ball the way that they shot the ball today. There's a problem. Maybe y'all need to go to boot camp and go have some shoot-arounds at the boot camp. But my coach's call out today is Kenny Atkinson. Get it right, Kenny. Get it right, Kenny.
Ooh.
Kenny
Wow.
Atkinson,
And
you have been called
my
out.
wife took my whistle. My whistle is missing. So I'm upset right now. Kenny, get it right.
Put your fingers in between your mouth like we used to when we were kids. Blow that way, right? Put
I
your
never
fingers
could
in your
do
mouth
that.
and blow.
I couldn't do that either, man. I was never good at that. Coaches call out from Hot Rod. Not
Ooh.
1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 days off. And Kenny Atkinson, you couldn't get them together. Nice job, Hot Rod. Well, it's time for our start one, bench one, cut one, erase one. I think we got the cap.
Yep.
Who is up? What do you got, Captain?
And I'm going to keep it with basketball. I'm going to keep it with basketball. And this is a kind of easy one based on a documentary me and my wife watched a couple weeks ago on the ABA. Remember the ABA with the red, white, and blue basketball? Yeah, the ABA. My start one, bench one, cut one, erase one is based on the best players who played in the NBA. And they all transitioned to the NBA, I believe. But the best players in the ABA. And we're going to start with none other than Julius Erving, Dr. J. Dr. J. Okay. Dr. J. Then we're going to move on to the late, great Moses Malone. Moses Malone. Y'all remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Came in the league, played for Houston, I believe. Next up is the Iceman, George Gervin. The Iceman.
I remember my brother Greg had that poster on his wall.
Me and Greg both had it.
On those ice cubes.
On a block of ice. Greg had one and I had one. Yep, we both had them. We got them from we got them from Spencer Gifts at Randall Park Mall. Spencer Gifts. Yep. And last but not least, the late, great Connie Hawkins. The late, great Connie Hawkins. So Dr. J, Connie Hawkins, Moses Malone, and the Iceman, George Gervin. Start one, bench one, cut one, erase one.
Okay, man. This is a good one.
Yeah. It's a tough one, too.
This is tough,
It's a tough one. Yeah. It's a tough one.
I'll go first.
Man. All right. Okay, Hot Rod.
Yeah, so I will start Dr. J. Because people don't know that people don't know about Doc and the ABA. But number 2, my bench one, I'm gonna bench. Oh, this is rough. I'm gonna bench George Gervin.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut Moses Malone. Man, this is rough.
Wow.
This is rough.
Wow.
And I'm gonna erase. I'm gonna erase the Hawk. I'm gonna erase Connie Hawkins.
Connie Hawkins.
This is tough.
Wow.
This is
tough. Yeah.
It's a tough one. Yeah. It's tough.
Okay, fellas.
All right, L-Train.
Hot Rod, I feel your pain, man. I feel your pain. I would start Dr. J. That's who I'm gonna start. I would bench the Iceman. I would cut Connie Hawkins.
Okay.
And I would erase. It hurts. I would erase Moses Malone, man.
Wow. Moses, who parted the Red Sea. I had that poster too. Yep. Him parting the Red Sea. Wow.
Those were great posters, man. They need to bring that back. Those were great.
Okay. Wow. I don't think we all going to be on the same accord like we have been in the past, fellas. I'm going to start Dr. J, Julius Erving, who at one time played for the Virginia Squires here in Virginia. And he used to play at the Scope Arena in downtown Norfolk. Okay, so Dr. J, start. I'm going to bench Connie Hawkins, the late great Connie Hawkins. I'm gonna
Yep.
bench him. I'm gonna cut, and this is tough. I'm gonna cut Moses Malone. I'm gonna cut the big man, and I'm going to
Ooh.
erase the Iceman. Yeah, I'm gonna erase the
Oh
Iceman. That was
That's
man.
tough, Cap.
but that's real tough. That's tough. And Iceman was pretty at everything he did. He oh man,
Yeah.
he was beautiful. Poetry in motion. Poetry in motion. That was a tough one though, yeah. Yep. Because
Oh,
I went
man,
back
way to
and
bring
forth
it.
with erasing. I went back and forth with erasing Connie Hawkins, but I couldn't just because of everything that brother went through, okay? Coming up
Yep.
through the ranks, okay? Because he played at a time before these guys where again it was tough going. So you couldn't erase him because without him, none of these other guys would have come. So yeah, Connie, the old elder statesman out of all of these guys. I just benched him. Yep. That
Yeah.
was a tough
Man,
one.
that was a good one, Cap. Cap, that was a good one.
That was good.
That was a good
Tough
one.
Tough
Yep.
one. Tough.
Yep. All right, fellas, before we get out of here, we always got to do our parting shots. Cap, what do you got, man?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with a sad story I saw last night, and I remember when it went down, but ABC 2020 did a special on Friday night about the late Brian Potter. Remember him, the kid that played at Miami? Played at the
Yep.
University of Miami. He got gunned down back in 2006. And the sad part about it is, and they think a teammate did it, but it hasn't, nobody's been held accountable. But the sad thing about it is that the Miami-Dade Police Department just kind of brushed it away, swept it away, and didn't do anything, and just kind of left this guy's family hanging. And it took for ESPN to get involved and, bring it to the forefront to, get the authorities to, really, really look into what happened to this kid, okay? Who died by a single gunshot, to the head, and they just kind of pushed it aside. And again, like I say, ESPN had to get involved, and it finally went to trial, but the trial ended in a mistrial, because they
Okay.
feel they have a suspect. But again, to this date, the family, hasn't gotten this, just due. But I hear that the case is going to go back again later on this summer. So I'm just
Okay.
praying for, something to happen for the family, for the mom and for the brothers and sisters. And this was a standout kid, from Little Haiti, who was from Miami, from that area, and, played for the U, and he's somebody that would have been drafted, but I remember when it happened. And again, like I say, ABC 2020 did a piece on it the other night. So I'm just praying for justice for his family, I really am. So yeah, rest in, peace to late Brian Potter.
Wow, that is a sad story. That's
yeah,
sad.
it was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
What do you got,
for
Hot
me,
Rod?
I hate going in this direction, but my condolences and shout out to Dominic Ponder's family, the quarterback for Colorado, who tragically
Oh, yeah.
lost his life in a single car accident. Young man was 23 years old. We keep talking about just enjoying every single day of
kid.
your life. And he was just a kid, and Coach Dion talked about him, raved about him. And so and listened to his story and how he worked to, and he was possibly going to start this year at Colorado, and worked really, really hard. And it was tragic to see that happen. And I said this on the locker room. That's why I understand Myles Garrett is a grown man and he can do whatever he wants. He got 40 million reasons to do what he wants. But when I look at what happened with Dominique Ponder, and I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, he was a football player for the Philadelphia Eagles by the name of Jerome Brown. And Jerome Brown had a need for speed too. And Jerome
Yep,
Brown
died down
lost
there in
his life
Florida in a
because
car
he had a
accident.
need for speed.
Yep.
Absolutely. So with Dominique Ponder, we just want to send the condolences out to his family and everyone that in the Colorado Buffalo family. And it was just tragic. And like I said, please love on somebody. Tell somebody you love them. Don't always assume that they know, and I mean that. So you never know.
Yeah. Condolences from 3 the Hard Way and 3 the Hard Way Nation out there for sure. I don't have anything this week that's as deep as what you guys brought to the table, but I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a minute. Anybody that knows me knows that I am a big one of the greatest inventions that's ever been made is the cell phone. I mean, it makes you accessible to like a lot of different things. And I'm not a big cell phone guy, although I use it. Like I make it a point not to be on my cell phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think it's a family destroyer. I think it's a relationship destroyer when you're so into these cell phones. But the biggest thing that cell phones do, fellas, is they make you anxious about stuff and makes you have no patience because everything is at your fingertips now. You can order food, groceries. You can even buy a car, man, from your cell phone. It's absolutely crazy. The reason why I bring that up is that we've got a lot of impatience when it comes to sports. Man, I look at up here in Minnesota with our quarterback situation up here. There was a time where quarterbacks had 2 to 3 years to really, get their footing in the NFL. I look at a guy like J.J. McCarthy. I'm a fan of J.J. McCarthy. I think he's going to be a big-time quarterback in this league. I just think he needs more time, and the Minnesota Vikings are about to make one of the biggest mistakes that they have ever made. Everybody talks about the Herschel Walker trade when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings as one of the worst trades ever. I think the Minnesota Vikings, who have been hungry for a franchise quarterback, I'm not saying that J.J. McCarthy is going to be the best quarterback to ever play. I just think he's the answer to what Minnesota needs in terms of a franchise quarterback. How good he will be, we don't know that yet, but I know he's going to be pretty good. And the Minnesota Vikings, within the next week, fellas, they are about to make a move that is going to push that kid out the door. And mark my words, remember, L Train said this. He is going to go somewhere else, and he is going to be really, really good. And the Minnesota Vikings are going to have mud on their face for the second time when it comes to the quarterback position. First, Sam Darnold holding that trophy up in the Super Bowl, and now J.J. McCarthy going somewhere else to be a pretty damn good quarterback. That is my prediction for J.J. McCarthy. I just think the Minnesota Vikings are making a huge mistake, and that is my parting shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the way I feel about it, fella. This is ridiculous up here, man. But
I mean, don't hold back. Let them know how you feeling, bro.
Man,
Tell them how you feeling.
It's crazy. It's crazy up here, man. I go back and forth, and I look at, if you want to argue he's injured a lot, hey, I'll listen to that. But the kids showed flashes last year. He didn't have the best situation with the offensive lineman. I think the kid's going to be pretty good, but that's just me. I'm just a basketball coach. That's all. I'm just a basketball coach and a podcast host. That's all I do, man. I'm not in the NFL right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Fellas,
All right.
Another great show. Any last words for the Hard Way Nation out there?
Everybody enjoy your week. Be safe out there. We're functioning on 1 hour less of sleep, except for Hot Rod out there in Arizona. They don't honor it, but everywhere else, I felt that hour this morning. Yeah.
How does that work
Rod,
that Arizona doesn't observe, daylight savings? What?
Mountain Standard Time, man. That's how it is. I don't lose no hour. I don't gain no hour. Everything is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Hard Way Nation, thanks for tuning in, man. Thanks again for all the questions. We had like over 75 questions, fellas. If we didn't get to your questions today, we'll read them another time when we're on the air. So keep sending that stuff in, man. We really
keep watching it. Tell a friend about us. Yep.
Absolutely. Hit that like and subscribe button. Put things in the comments. Help us with the algorithm. It really, really helps the channel out. We appreciate you guys. From the Cap and Hot Rod, L Train, we will see you next time when we see you. Peace out.
Y'all have a blessed week. Great show, fellas. Great show.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.